something. All right, we were both engaged with the Michigan State battle. That took place Saturday night in East Lansing. I was down there for all kinds of tailgating.
Okay.
Had an absolute blast walking around, talking with different people. I love the camaraderie between Michigan and Michigan State people and friendships and so on and so forth. I did talk with a lot of people who just, the apathy on the part of MSU is glaring to me. Okay? And I'm not making fun of them, okay?
No,
my daughter's a senior there. I want them to do well. I think it's important for our state. I think, I want our kids, I want our really good football players in the state of Michigan. I want them staying home.
I think it's been good that Braylon has also stood on that too, saying he actually wants a good Michigan State program for the better of the
Sure he
rivalry.
does. Yeah, and I believe him because he's a man of his word.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder about that because I heard that during Tom Izzo's tenure, of course, when I was calling Michigan basketball, and he's at the beginning of Tommy Amaker and the beginning of John Baligian. I want him to be good, and then suddenly that team starts beating. You're like, hold on a second, man.
Yeah.
This gets a little old. But I believe, as an outsider with no skin in the game, I want our kids, Detroit kids, Grand Rapids kids, wherever, I want them going to Michigan State, the regional schools. I want them to promote the state of Michigan football. But walking around and talking, I went to 4 different tailgates.
Yeah.
And there's just no connection and passion that I saw on the part of Michigan State for that game against Michigan. Almost as if they accepted that they're not going to win. And that's really tough to take. That was my guess. You've got a lot of friends who are Michigan State fans. We talked with one on Friday, TJ Duckett. Awesome time. If you missed any of it, follow us on our social media channels. It was a fantastic interview. Did you get the same feel, or am I off base there?
I don't think you're off base, and this is what I think. This is what I think about it. The rivalry with Michigan State has always been an annoying one because Michigan State is the type of institution where, and this has always been, I'll get to who they are now, but they've always been the type of institution, if they're not good, they're not talking about the game. And then when the game comes up, then they talk about it a little bit. It was like, they'll have conversations. Don't let them be up in the game. Now they're talking about something. Don't let them win. Because then they got to talk. It was like, oh, my God, we beat you. You guys suck. Blah, blah, blah.
Preach
but
it,
if
Ray.
they, like, that's it. If they win, it's, oh, you guys suck. We won. They didn't think
Exactly.
they were going to win. They never had faith that they were going to win. They weren't even optimistic they were going to win. On the outside, when we win, which throughout the rivalry, with the exception of a small space, which I'll talk about too, like, it's been, we're supposed to win. Like, when you win, it's like, well, you were supposed to win. Well, we suck. They continue to move the goalposts back. So why are we even in a rivalry with them? Like, if you guys don't care, if the conversation when we win is always, well, we were supposed to win, then why do I care what you say in this rivalry? Because that's what Michigan State is. Like, they expect to lose, and if they win, they have something to say. If they don't, then it's you should have beat us. In fact, you should have beat us by more. You should have beat us by more. So that's why I tap out, and I have no apathy for them in that department. They got beat. You typically do get beat.
118 all-time meetings between the two schools. I think it's a hell of a rivalry. I want balance, but I understand why you wouldn't for sure. As a guy who bleeds maize and blue, I was just a little surprised that people had just come to the conclusion before even going into the game or even just watching the game. I'm fine playing cornhole while the game's going on because I just don't think we've got a chance.
Okay, now here's the other side of that. Why would you feel any different? I completely understand the people of Michigan State. You got a negligent school who legitimately has done the Mel Tucker thing. Why would you hire Mel Tucker? Like, who hired Mel Tucker? Why would you hire Mel Tucker? What, the coach, like the Narduzzi situation, you botched that. Your president that you had for lack of the interim president situation that you guys were operating under, the AD for the last 12 years, like who has an interim president AD for 12 seasons? This is what Michigan State had.
Yeah.
You finally got some NIL money. You had Spartan Dogs, all that going for you. Mel Tucker situation messed that up. Now, in a rush to hire a coach, you hired a coach from a conference that was legitimately depleting because what he can recruit on the West Coast. The landscape has changed. You brought a man into East Lansing that knew nothing about East Lansing. Fine. You don't have to know anything about Michigan State. Can you recruit? Well, he said he could, but I didn't see that. Do you understand how to use the transfer portal? Michigan State still has the same issues they had last year and still has the same issues they had the year before that. That means he doesn't know how to use the transfer portal.
I don't disagree with any of that. Michigan did that with Rich Rodriguez. Okay, why would Why in the world would you hire Rich Rodriguez?
But this isn't
they
about
did it with Brady
Michigan.
Hope too. No, I know.
This
I
isn't
understand.
about what they did. This
Yeah.
is about me understanding the people in East Lansing that have no faith in the team. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing about East Lansing that they should have faith in because nothing has been given to them in the last, let's say, 20, so 5 years. Nothing has been given to them to really have faith in. And they had a brief synopsis with K9.
Yeah.
And then that was it. So I understand why they don't care.
I wish, honestly, I wish you and Brittany were with my wife and I when we went out to dinner Friday night with a bunch of friends.
We went out with our parents. We saw Springsteen.
Yeah, I know. I know you had bigger plans, but it would have been
I don't know
fun
about
because I would have loved the conversation you would have had with, and we went with three other couples, and all three guys are Spartans, which is great, and their wives, two of the three are Spartans as well. And one of them actually said to me, I asked them legitimately, if they lose tomorrow, and we expect them to lose, what do you think happens with Michigan State football? And he said immediately he should be fired. I said, okay, who do you want?
Yeah.
You know, he didn't necessarily have the answer that I think an
They never-
informed
they
person
never
should
do.
have. Yeah. But I said, give me the reason why it's such an appealing job. Like, I think it is, but I like to hear from people. He literally said to me, well, think about it. We've won national championships in hockey and basketball. And I went, hold on a second.
It's a bad
Do,
start.
do you honestly think anybody coming from an SEC school or anywhere gives a rat's ass that you won a hockey championship in 2007? Honestly.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Do you think anybody cares that they've won a basketball championship in 2000?
I don't think so.
Absolutely not. Because if they did, Kentucky would be really good. North
Very
Carolina
good.
would be really good. Duke would be really good. Denver, who wins hockey championships, would have a really good football program. That doesn't matter. What matters is what? What do you think is the most important thing as this school goes forward to try and replace, if they indeed do fire Jonathan Smith, and I'm not advocating for it, I'm just saying if they do, because 8 Power 4 schools, 12 overall, but 8 Power 4 schools are now in search of a head coach. LSU with
Go
Brian
get him.
Kelly, James Franklin at Penn State, Billy Napier at Florida. Those are the top 3 jobs, at least many people feel.
Go get James Franklin. Go get James Franklin. Because Michigan State, in my opinion, this is no shade, this is the truth. They're not looking to win national championships. Now, you can say they are, you'd be lying to yourself. Let's be honest. They're looking to be competitive. Michigan State is looking to do what? Be 10-2. Be in the conversation. And
They wanna be in the
next
college
year,
football
Maybe
playoff.
next year. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Who's the best person at that? It's James Franklin. James Franklin can recruit, and he literally could recruit it about, what's that, an 8-hour drive from here? He knows this area. He knows this landscape, the Big Ten, and he is good in the living room. He can get your kid to come to Michigan State. Why not have him?
He does recruit the
Like,
Detroit area
100%.
very well.
Like, Michigan State is looking for a sense of competency. That's what we're looking for from Michigan State. Like, we're not looking for them to win a national championship next year. We're not even looking for them to get into the playoffs in the next 2 years.
You'd like to get to a bowl game. is what you'd love.
100%. I want to see.
I guess the argument would be this.
Yeah.
I'm not
And if I'm Michigan State, wouldn't you be happy with that?
I'm not dismissing that.
Yeah.
3-7 in his career against Michigan. So that's number one. Number two, he's in the midst of a $49.7 million buyout, if you allow me to round up, a $50 million buyout, which shouldn't matter, okay? How much is it going to cost you to get a guy like that?
Yeah.
You know, I think
You need a deal.
yeah, you need a deal,
You
right?
need a deal.
And therein lies, I think, your most valid point. Whether it's James Franklin or anybody, a big name guy.
Yeah.
Too many times I hear Michigan State fans, and my buddy said this to me Friday night. We just want a guy who's going to come and stay, and I'm like, you want a guy who's going to come and win.
Like,
That should be first and foremost. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's the mindset. And I think it's okay. I say this to people all the time. Change your mindset a little bit. Your mindset is what? I mean, you've said this to me numerous times. My team's got to compete for a national title. I'm like, good for you.
well, that's
right?
what I was told growing up.
Yeah.
And then when I went there, that's what I kept. And then holding to that accountability. Look, I struggled, like as did other Michigan alums. We struggled from 2007 to 2021. There's a lot of butt whooping in there and a lot of not times being competitive, but it didn't matter. Every time I turned on the expectation was the expectation.
Amen.
Whether we were supposed to be there or not, the expectation is the expectation.
love that.
Until eventually, well, it panned out.
And damn it, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
legitimate expectations.
Yeah.
All right? If you're a Chippewa, you can't expect that. We can expect Mac West title.
It'll be
No
all right,
offense,
right?
Ryan, but it's true. It really is. Michigan State's mindset is almost very similar to that of the Tigers' mindset, where it's like, okay, if we get here,
Makes sense.
we're
Spot
good.
on.
That's why you can't.
When you should be saying, I expect to compete with Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon for Big Ten titles.
Well, they got to bring in somebody with a bigger mindset then. You can't bring in somebody that comes from Oregon State, where they also are at the bottom of the totem pole in that conference. You got to bring somebody here with some different energy. Like, I'm not saying somebody has to be loud and have the best personality. They don't have to run around, ball hit it, talking about ski ma and row the boat. They don't have to do that.
Row the boat.
Like, you
I'm
don't
going to
have
come jumping in. It's all about me, everybody. Are the cameras rolling? All right, I'm going to jump in. I want you guys all to catch me. People want that.
You
And then
don't-
they got steamrolled by Iowa.
You don't need that, but you have to come in with some personality, some swag to where if I'm a player, if I'm a family, and I'm like, where's my kid going to go to school? Let's look at this Michigan State situation. You have this new head coach. Okay, he's got some personality about him. He's got some moxie about him. Okay, I kind of like what's going on. Let's do a little deeper dive and let's see what he is. Also, too, in the landscape now where a school can change in 2 years, 1 year, I don't want to hear this. We want a guy to stay. No, we don't. I want a guy that can come turn my program around and make me buy into it. So what if it happens fast? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That is just the rate that things move. You got to find a guy that can figure that out. Michigan State, they got money. They just don't want to waste it on a guy that doesn't know what he's doing, or they don't want to waste it on players. Like, they want to make sure the guy can sell them on who they're buying, what they're doing. They got a lot of money up there in East Lansing. If you get the guy in there that can pull the money out of those pockets, now you find yourself a guy. Jonathan Smith is not pulling money out of Magic Johnson's pocket.
You're right.
He is not pulling money out of Matt Ishbia, who's down the street, or Gilbert, or insert another one of these billion.
I
St.
never
Andre,
thought
all
about
those
it like
guys.
that.
He's not
before.
pulling any money out of their
I never
pocket.
thought
You
about it
gotta
like that
have a guy
before.
that can pull some money out of his pockets,
Jeez.
because they have it. But you know things about billionaires and people up there. Oh, they're not spending their
Well,
money
they-
unless they know.
They want to see something in
Exactly.
return. It's called ROI.
100%
What's the
return on
return of it?
investment.
And I don't need a suite. I don't want you. I can
Chef,
buy
pay
the
me
damn
my
suite.
money.
I'll buy
I
the
can buy
damn
the stadium.
Yeah, for crying out
Stadium.
loud. I want wins. Okay, I want to go to national championship games. I want to go to college football playoff games. Right. So I'm interested to know what you think the criteria would be. Because I think you got to be able to raise money. I think you're 100%
Raise
right.
money
You got to
is
prove
one.
you can
Definitely want
recruit the area. There's no doubt about that. And you've got to be able to. If you don't know the
TP,
portal,
there
if you
it
don't
is.
know the portal, you're in deep crap.
Yeah,
Right?
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think another thing as well is when Michigan lost his way underneath Rich Rod, it seemed like they lost their way in the Big Ten overall. All the goals that I had always heard growing up, my dad was a Michigan grad, it was like Big Ten championship, Ohio State, Michigan State, Rose Bowl. And I think that those anchors help keep your team at least with a goal, with your mindset set on something. I think what Michigan State is experiencing right now is a guy who doesn't quite understand the culture, doesn't quite know what to speak. He's not really anchoring them to anything. I don't think that Michigan State is really getting fired up for anything right now.
Yeah.
Like what? It's just they just seem listless.
Yeah.
So it's like, where's their spine? Who is Michigan State right now? And that
They
to
seem
me is what I
searching,
think.
don't they?
That's what I'm saying.
Say what you want about Rich Rodriguez. Here's what Michigan did. 3 years, not working.
Yeah.
Cut your losses.
Really quick.
That's what happens a lot of times. It's not working. We got to move on. Okay? And I'm not proposing Michigan State do that. I've got another name, and these are the three big names. I don't think any of those three are coming to Michigan State. Sorry. Okay? I would look at Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern. I would. 17 years at Northwestern.
That's not bad.
If you can win double digits, and he did it 3 or 4 times at Northwestern, you should be
I actually
able
wouldn't
to
want
use that at Michigan State.
Okay, hear me out on this one.
Go
though.
ahead.
The coach before this one for Michigan State, what happened with him? Scandal.
Scandal with the female.
Now
yes.
you're about to hire another head coach who got fired for scandal.
Okay, but there's like a scandal with Brian Kelly. Okay,
I never said Brian Kelly.
I know you didn't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I'm just
Yeah, I got
using
you, I
it.
got you.
There's a scandal there. Okay.
just don't think
you're
this-
right. Bobby Petrino's had scandals. He's come back. Rick Pitino has scandals. He's come back.
This is true.
I agree.
Michigan State, though, they can't handle another scandal because I think Larry Nassar was on the hills up until 2021, and then
Yeah.
right after that,
Well, that's a
kind of
good
starts
point.
going down.
That's
Here comes Mel Tucker and all the stuff that they dealt with. So
Yeah.
now that that's coming down, you insert.
Good point. Really good
It would be
point.
tough if I was on the board.
You better win. You're gonna put your neck on that chopping block. You better win, and you better win with him quickly,
Facts.
because then that kind of stuff goes away. You're right, though. You're 100% right. When you make this hire, whoever this may be, what's going to happen is people are going to dig.
Yeah.
What happened here? Why wasn't he successful there? Why is he available? Why is he coming here? And then the questions arise over and over and over again. It's the same thing with the NBA. Everyone's asking everybody, JB Bickerstaff over the weekend, what about the NBA gambling? It's hard to get away from that. With a guy like Pat Fitzgerald, you're right.
Sheesh.
That would be hard for people to not ask the question about the hazing incident, even though it was 3 years ago.
That NBA,
or
like-
2022 when he got last coach.
The gambling.
That's
The
interesting. man.
gambling aspect of the game, and we always said, well, I know your man knows this thing. When it first happened, it's like, oh shoot, you let the floodgates in. Now you have this gambling, you have all these accusations, certain players, and then you look at all these different video footage, and a lot of video footage isn't. It means nothing. Like, it just, anybody can slay the video in a certain way to make it look like, oh, got you. With that being said, I can't even watch. Like, every single play, you're like,
Yeah.
did somebody do something there?
Wait,
was that something there?
Yeah.
Hold on. Why did the coach make that play?
Why
did
did they pull that picture after 89 pitches?
It's
Why are they put? Why that guy's on a heater right now? He's on a 10-0 personal run. You're going to give him a break when your team just got to
Hey,
within 3
bro,
and you were down
look,
13? I don't think so.
look, the one for
Not a
me-
good idea,
not to
right?
mention basketball, as you said last week, has already had the Donahue thing.
Yeah.
So like,
That's right.
so this happens to a sport.
Yeah.
Well, we already know is,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word,
he's talking
some,
more
some
now.
stuff
Oh.
there.
He's been
And
talking.
here's what happens.
And now-
here's what the media does. The media will get players, they'll get
Okay.
coaches, and they'll give good sound bites. Jaylen Brown gave a great sound bite over the weekend. And then we're going to, how do we keep the story alive? This is what happens in the media. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not unique to sports or the NBA or anything. Now what? I got an idea. Let's go get a former mob boss of the Gambino family and talk to them and do an interview with them. Whoa! That'll hit social media. Now that is everywhere.
Let's go get the guys from Boston and with St. John's when all that was going on. What was that player? What was his name? He came and spoke to us. The gambler. He went to Fresno State. He was from Boston. Got drafted by the Celtics.
I forget.
Oh, what was his name? He was electric. Got drafted by Boston. Was from Boston. Anyway, but he came and spoke to us when I played with the Seattle Seahawks. He was talking about gambling and all this kind of stuff. It's like 2012.
It's in one ear, out the next.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I know they all. It's well intentioned.
Yeah.
And it's good that the leagues do that. Okay. But I feel sometimes the leagues do it just because they got to cover their ass.
Basketball-
Right? Magic Johnson when he was with HIV. Hey guys, just want you to know. Here's what happened. Don't do it. Phone call. Why is the bus waiting outside the hotel? I'll tell you why. Because he's up there with 6 hookers. That's why. Okay, that's what happens. Seriously, that's what happens. Okay,
Game is game.
Put a hold on the
Game
bus.
is
Okay,
game.
we're gonna be a little late. Oh, suddenly he's a DNP. Why not? He's tired. It's called what? Load
Shout out to
management.
Bray. He held that
Literally,
laugh there so
load
long.
management.
Long, man.
All right, when we
Oh, man. Bray has left the set. Bray has left the set.
Did you just proceed to use? You know what? Won't repeat. You gotta go back and watch it.
we are
Hey,
locked.
Anson, please make sure that is clipped.
We are locked and loaded.
Hey,
in a
that's
moment.
That's the second time. You're not slick over there. I peeked game.
We are locked and loaded. We'll get to Ben Johnson, but first, Art and Jakes, man, what a great time it was this past weekend for the Michigan State Showdown in Lansing when Art and Jakes were there hosting us. Had an absolute great time for sure.